So, good morning everyone. I am Denniel Gurtiza from BPED 2A. So, ngayon dako naman tayo sa characteristics of learners with SLD. The different types of SLD have several characteristics of their own. However, Howard and others provided a set of general characteristics of learners with SLD. So, number one characteristic is reading problems. According to Bender in 2007, almost 90% of learners who are diagnosed with SLD have reading problems. As mentioned above, a learner who has problem in terms of reading, decoding, and comprehension has dyslexia. Specifically, the most common type of problem that learners encounter when it comes to reading is lack of phonemic awareness, or the inability to recognize and control certain sounds, or phonemes, within spoken words. This is because reading involves the ability of an individual to break words into their component sounds. Hardman and others in 2005 lamented that learners with SLD also have varying degrees of difficulty in the different components of the reading process, such as oral reading, reading comprehension, word recognition skills, and reading habits. Furthermore, Salvia and Nisseldijk identified several prevalent difficulties in oral reading, which include omission. This occurs when the learner intentionally or unintentionally leaves out specific words or group of words. Insertion. This happens when the learner adds one or more word into the sentence. Substitution. When the learner exchanges one or more words into the passage with one or more significant ones. Gross mispronunciation of a word. This may happen when the pronunciation of a word significantly deviates from the correct pronunciation. Hesitation. This transpires when the learner exhibits a delay of 2 or more seconds before articulating a word. Inversion. The learner alters the sequence of a word in a sentence. Disregard of punctuation. The student fails to follow the correct punctuation rules. Next is math underachievement. Students with learning disabilities may experience difficulties in both mathematical computations and mathematical reasoning. Mathematical computations refer to the use of tools in figuring out an equation or the process of calculating itself. Mathematical reasoning is using logic and critical thinking to solve a math problem by finding connections and figuring out the best way to solve it. This means that a child diagnosed with SLD, especially dyscalculia, may have deficits in retrieving numbers and solving mathematical problems, even with the use of basic operations. Next, poor social skills. Learners with SLD may also have problems in socializing and interacting with other people. Researchers indicate that their deficit in interpersonal skills is caused by their inability to understand social cues relative to their own experience and failure to comprehend nonverbal social expressions. This leads to social isolation, limitation on their social interaction, and poor social skills. Next is attention deficits and hyperactivity. Often, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, develops together with SLD. With this, learners who are diagnosed with SLD and ADHD will have learning problems. Attention deficits and hyperactivity. This means that the learners with SLD and ADHD may find it challenging to focus on one task and may also display in high tendencies of hyperactivity. The last one is low self-esteem or self-efficacy. Compared to their peers without learning disabilities, students with SLD are more likely to report lower levels of self-efficacy, mood, effort, and confidence. They are more likely to manifest low self-efficacy when given a task to perform and lack confidence in representing themselves in front of the class.